Alright, with the Operation Cinder satellites secure aboard the Star Destroyer Dauntless, our next mission involves an observatory on the planet Pilio.
Our next mission is equally important. Inferno has clearance to access one of the Emperor's classified observatories buried on the planet Pilio.
The Aftermath trilogy tells us about the Emperor's observatories a little more, and he had them on multiple planets. Jakku was one of them, and this one on Pilio is mentioned as having a mantle defense system. The Jakku site had some sort of self-destruct system that could rip the planet apart from the inside. So this mantle defense system, while it's not named at the Battle of Jakku, it could be the same thing. And now here is Pilio. It is like an ocean/coral planet. I think it's a really cool design. I always kind of wonder about what other ecosystems can we do for Star Wars planets, but I think this one was pretty unique. And Del is here to destroy the observatory because there's supposedly dangerous artifacts inside that could be used against the Empire. Those artifacts are probably the exact same reason that Luke Skywalker was also called to Pilio.
Scanners probably spotted us.
This planet was actually mentioned not long before Battlefront II came out in the book, The Legends of Luke Skywalker. And that book is all about telling tall tales about Luke and what he was up to in between episodes 6 and 7. So none of those stories can really be taken as truth. And the story in particular that mentions Pilio is absurd. Like, it talks about Luke running through space with nothing but his lightsaber, destroying Star Destroyers. Like, no way did that happen. I mean, it's told from the point of view of a concussed Imperial, so don't believe a word of it. But it does mention a specific artifact that we'll talk about later that was found in a box marked Pilio.
It looks like the Empire is searching for something too.
When I first read the story, I was thinking, oh, maybe this is how Luke first heard of the planet, but the Battle of Jakku doesn't happen for another 6 months at least by this point. So I think what's more likely is that the story in the Legends of Luke is just false, and it's like a wrong version. And okay, I have to pause what I'm talking about to just talk about these stormtroopers that have batons that run at you to punch you in the face with a stick. Like, you put your blaster away to attack me with a baton. I have a lightsaber. What are you thinking? Also, while I'm going off on a tangent, I love the look of the jump troopers. They are modeled after the jump troopers that were introduced in Star Wars Rebels. In Season 3, the Ghost of Geonosis episode, they look like a more realistic design, and I love that. There's another baton trooper, and hey, there's a jump trooper, so exactly what I'm talking about, one after the other. Why? You're the last one. Why? Anyway, Legends of Luke Skywalker, the book. Just don't take anything that it says as absolute fact, because they're all supposed to be just passed down stories that have grown bigger and more grand, and the one about Pilio is... it's something that there's probably like a little hint of truth in there, but ultimately this is the true version of that story. That guy could have just left. He had to take a shot at me.
There's something down here. Something unnatural.
Now, Luke senses something unnatural here. I'm wondering if there's like some sort of dark side corruption going on thanks to the observatory. The Jakku site had dark side artifacts of all kinds in it, like Sith masks and crazy holocrons, so it's possible that the observatory here on Pilio has some similar stuff in it and maybe is affecting the environment.
Hello?
call out. Sounded like you needed help.
Yeah, I do. You think you can get me out of this?
Del must be crapping his pants right now. I mean,
Hold still.
he saw the hilt, now he sees the lightsaber, like... he knows who that is. Imperial propaganda probably paints him as a straight-up murderer.
Why'd you help me?
Because you asked.
No, that won't do it. This will.
No, wait!
I really like Luke's attitude in this entire story. I'm not crazy about the level itself because it's just kind of like whacking bugs with a lightsaber, but Luke has a very cool new attitude. It's very different from what we saw in Return of the Jedi. But he regrets killing stormtroopers. He regrets that he has to destroy these bugs, or even their home. He's very zen, and I dig it.
I've heard 100 stories about the Jedi. They terrified me as a boy on Coruscant, but you...
And like Del just mentioned, we have other examples of Imperial propaganda painting the Jedi as villains. And yeah, like, they're basically treated as boogeymen to children on Coruscant. So Del's first thought about Luke is not one of like, oh, I'm glad you're here, but as we go on, he starts to adjust.
There's always more to it than luck.
The Force. Is that what got you past my men, or was it the lightsaber you carried?
I'm sorry.
That's what I thought. So why am I still alive?
They didn't give me a choice. You did.
So again, there's Luke saying he didn't want to come. He didn't come here looking for a fight. He came here because the Force called him here, and then he ran into stormtroopers and they opened fire, so he's just defending himself.
That amber. It's like concrete.
It hardens almost on contact.
It shatters on contact, too. It's here.
We're getting close to the Emperor's Observatory.
So that's why you're here.
Don't worry.
Something I don't quite understand is why there is an observatory here on Pilio. Maybe because it was so close to Vardos. Like Jakku, I understand. It's right next to the Unknown Regions, and we know that Palpatine was very interested in that area. He was sending out expeditions and trying to chart a way through. So Jakku makes sense. Pilio, I just don't know. Like, maybe there was a nexus in the Force or something. Maybe it was just a safe place to use as a storage facility, considering it's right next to Vardos, and considering, you know, the hostile ecosystem here. It is possible, it's very possible actually, I guess, that we will learn more about the planet in the Project Resurrection part of the story.
These bugs are very unhappy.
Since Del eventually returns to Pilio, I could see that kind of having some more insight into this planet. Maybe we'll learn a little more. But yeah, this is the part of the level where I was just kind of like, all I have to do is stand here and play whack-a-mole. I wish there were a little more to do. It's not hard since we have the Force and we can just do that ground slam thing. So I'm like kind of at a loss of things to talk about. But let's talk about that ground slam power. I wonder if that's... like, that's not too unique that I would think it's something that we'll see in The Last Jedi, or like it's a new Force ability specifically of Luke's. I can kind of see any Jedi doing that, but it is interesting.
Only one terminal left.
Like, when you look at Rey and Luke as heroes in Battlefront 2, I think that EA and DICE, I think they were very vague with what their abilities were, because I think Lucasfilm doesn't want to reveal anything substantial in the video game. They want all of that big stuff to come out in The Last Jedi or in Episode 9. So both Rey and Luke are kinda generic Force-using heroes in this game. Yeah, we could talk about Del a little bit. I mean, he is really, of all the Inferno Squad members, Luke is lucky that it's him that was here, and only him. Or, what I should say is, Inferno Squad is lucky that it's only Del here, because Del's like the perfect person to meet Luke. He's the most curious of the team for sure. He's interested in the mechanical, and the scientific, and the mystical. And in the Inferno Squad book, it really highlights kind of his curiosity in these strange machines that they find that aren't just machines. It seems like they might be powered by the Force, but if Gideon and or Iden were here as well, Luke probably would have been forced to kill them all, because Del gave him a choice. I don't think Iden, and I definitely don't think Hask would have given him that choice. Almost there. Come on, Del. Get that door open. Or I guess he's just shutting down the mantle defense system.
This is it. The Emperor's Observatory. Whatever's inside these doors, those bugs don't like it.
So yeah, whatever's in the doors, the bugs don't like it. Okay, so maybe the dark side is affecting them.
Why would the Emperor have a vault that can only be opened using the Force?
Why do you think?
You're telling me the man who destroyed the Jedi Order was secretly one.
Del is a good reminder that most people, especially at this point in time, they're just very ignorant of the Force, and definitely most people have no idea that the Emperor was a Force user of any kind. And this does just look like a storage facility. I wish, we could do more exploring outside of a cutscene, but
This is all worthless.
instead all we get is this, which is still intriguing. We have no idea what this compass is for right now. I imagine it has something to do with eventually Lor San Tekka and the first Jedi Temple on Ahch-To, but it's hard to say right now.
I won't stop you from destroying this vault. Wouldn't you say the Empire's done enough?
Again, the compass might pop up in the Project Resurrection DLC. Hopefully we learn a little more. And the compass is what was mentioned in the Legends of Luke Skywalker book. Someone presents who they think is Luke Skywalker with a compass, and they said they found it in a box marked Pilio. So there are enough details there that I think it's just someone kind of mashing stories together. Someone heard about this compass that Luke got, and they heard that he got it on Pilio, and then that story got twisted into someone found it in a box on Jakku marked Pilio. So I think it's just a wrong telling of the same event.
A choice to be better. May the Force be with you.
And again, just really like Luke's attitude right now. He's not about empires or rebellions. He's beyond all that. But that's where we're going to wrap up today. So if you want to start this lore play series from the beginning, check out this playlist right here. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.